Habitually.
I just habitually deny everything these days.
Habitat.
It's a natural habitat for the polar bear.
Inhabitant.
But at the end of the day, we are all inhabitants of Earth.
Avoid.
We avoided a tragedy.
Evade.
You can also evade responsibility for something you failed to do.
Inevitable.
Death is inevitable.
Inevitably.
Humans inevitably die.
Compare.
I compared myself with her and found we were different.
Comparison.
You don't find anything wrong in the comparison.
Comparable.
Their strength was probably very comparable.
Comparatively.
Comparatively speaking, there are few female serial killers.
Contrast.
What a contrast between him and his friend.
Evidence.
There's no evidence that he killed anyone.
Evident.
It was evident that he was very much in love with her.
Clear.
I'm sorry, I guess I didn't make myself clear. You didn't get the job.
Clarity.
Mrs. Reed must be a woman of great sense and clarity.
Apparent.
It was apparent that Joan spoke the truth in this.
Obvious.
It's obvious you love her.
Strikingly.
What everyone says, she's strikingly beautiful.
Justice.
The law means nothing without justice.
Justify.
Nothing justifies killing innocent people and animals.
Justification.
But there is never any justification for violence.
Jury.
You want to see a jury find Jessica guilty.
Juror.
Juror number 12, what is your verdict?
Jurisdiction.
This isn't federal land. The FBI has no jurisdiction over us.
Note.
Now, how are you going to take notes without a notebook?
Notably.
Obesity brings problems, notably heart disease, diabetes, and cancer.
Notice.
We don't notice, and therefore we don't act.
Present.
I myself cannot leave London at the present time.
Presently.
I'm not working presently.
Presence.
My presence here is clearly causing unhappiness.
Presentation.
No, beginning the presentation with the film is a mistake.
Absently.
In what way? Asked Harry, rubbing his scar absently.
Absence.
No one seems to notice my absence.
Represent.
I'm not supposed to represent the company, right?
Representation.
It's a 3D representation of what we think happened the night of the murder.
Representative.
He became a representative of the town government.
Embody.
Minimalist artists wanted their work to embody order, simplicity, and harmony.
Embodiment.
Hong Kong is the embodiment of yin and yang, the Chinese concept of balance.
Behalf.
On behalf of my family, I apologize.
Peer.
He needs social interaction with his peers.
Counterpart.
But President Obama is not expected to meet with his Russian counterpart.
Single.
I don't want to know anything about him. Not one single thing.
Soul.
I am the sole survivor of my planet.
Respectively.
They gave it a score of 1.3 and 1.4 respectively.
Figure.
Were you happy with the sales figures, Fei-Fei?
Reckon.
Although in my youth I was reckoned for something of a singer.
Calculate.
To calculate the distance, they count their steps.
Speculate.
I don't need to speculate. I have science.
Appear.
A window was pushed up, and Dr. White's head appeared.
Appearance.
Do not judge things by their appearance.
Disappear.
Then the moon disappeared, and the snow began to fall once more.
Disappearance.
When he did not appear, she reported his disappearance.
Emerge.
The image faded and another emerged.
Fade. Vanish.
Nothing more was heard of him. He vanished.
Promote.
How can we promote gender equality?
Promotion.
Probably his reason for promotion to inspector.
Prompt.
Tough times do not suddenly prompt everyone to start a business.
Boost.
Carson's been boosting my confidence.
Spur.
But recessions may also spur the creation of new businesses.
Foster.
The Madeline Pratt you know fosters relationships with incredibly powerful people.
Extra.
It'll be extra work, but I'm happy to pay.
Extraordinary.
You're an extraordinary woman.
Extraordinarily.
Light travels extraordinarily fast, but not infinitely fast.
Extravagant.
There is nothing extravagant in their housekeeping, I dare say.
Luxury.
She enjoyed her new life of luxury while it lasted.
Vanity.
This idea is ridiculous, a product of vanity and insecurity.
Image.
His career and public image suffer.
Imagine.
Imagine if I lost all my hair. Would I still be me?
Imagination.
You're an artist. Use your imagination.
Imaginative.
You know, I'm imaginative. I've got a sense of humor.
Suppose.
She was the prettiest of the three girls, I suppose.
Supposedly.
And it was built supposedly 4,500 years ago.
Expose.
It would expose mother and child to untold danger.
Exposure.
Which one of these three jobs has the most exposure to noise?
Impose.
For example, the government imposed new taxes on fuel.
Oppose.
He'll kill anyone who opposes him.
Opposite.
We don't carpool, Ari. We live on opposite sides of town.
Opposition.
Most of America's wars had faced some opposition.
Opponent.
I want to beat my opponent.
Pose.
Climate change poses the same threat right now.
Position.
GPS can tell us our position within a few meters.
Hypothesis.
Do you have any evidence to support that hypothesis?
Premise.
I accept your premise. I reject your conclusion.
Presumably.
George canceled his wedding, presumably for you.
Contrary.
Contrary to popular belief, bears don't eat humans.
Force.
A dark force is growing.
Reinforce.
They're reinforcing their child's good behavior with a positive reward.
Enforce.
We must have laws and we must enforce those laws.
Enforcement.
My country takes enforcement of its laws very seriously.
Compel.
No man can compel another man to marry.
Oblige.
As your father, I'm obliged to warn you, this is dangerous.
Obligation.
I have a moral obligation to tell the truth.
Protect.
It is our nature to protect our children.
Protection.
Our job is to provide protection.
Protective.
Most metals form a protective layer on their surface called an oxide layer.
Shelter.
Human beings need food, shelter.
Subject.
Andrew, don't change the subject.
Susceptible.
The poor may be especially susceptible to such scams.